Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. Okay, the power of Christmas compels you. The power of Christmas compels you. Ah, buckets. Festive fiend. Hey folks, Kiltman here, Kiltman, at your merrymaking services. How are you all? I hope you're doing very well. We're getting close to Crimbo. It's coming, it's just around the corner. But anyway, if you're like me and it gets to this festive period of the year when mince pies, tinsel, Christmas trees, baubles, Christmas lights, all that kind of stuff is pissing you right off, I find I like to go back to classic horror movies like The Exorcist. Of course, nothing says more about man being kind to man than a tale of a young girl being possessed by a demon called Pazuzu. Who? Pazuzu. Bless you. I've discussed the film before, a few times, I think. Not least when I was the lucky recipient of that fabulous poster art there, courtesy of channel subscriber and good friend, Steve 007 Smith. But this little video now is to show you a great little stocking filler for that demonic possession obsessed friend in your life. What to get him for Christmas Day, or her for that matter. Well, how about this bad boy, or bad girl indeed. Look at this. Who is it? You know her, you love her. You don't want her coming round for supper, that's for certain. Put the child gate on the stairs, because you're going to be getting a bit of an upside down spidery walkage coming down. Yes folks, this is a little 8-inch horror doll. Yeah, from Mego, from the Mego Monsters range. I have the packaging just there, I will show you that very shortly. But this, from the Mego range, is quite an amazing little figure. By the way, we are playing some of the music from The Exorcist, in case you're wondering, Jesus Christ, he's got some strange mice in his house. And you wouldn't be wrong there. Look at this, look at the face. That is Linda Blair, with all the horrible scratches. God. God plays no part in this. All the scratches and the hideousness and those eyes. Look at those eyes and those teeth. You know. For God's sake, what happened to her eyes? Yes, that was the Evil Dead. I know. Now, folks, this is a limited edition figure. Well, it says limited edition. It does indeed. There's the packaging. It says there, limited edition. But if you have a little look on the back of this, I'm presuming that that number there is the limited edition number. So item number 62,851. Even if this was the last one in the range, that still means there's 62,850 other ones of this out there. That's not exactly limited, is it? When they say limited edition, that just means that they've done a particular set of releases. So it could be 10 million. That would still be limited to 10 million. So they can put on the packaging, it's a limited edition, making people like me go, oh, limited edition, wow, it's rare, I must have it. And this is marketing, folks. Marketing in the modern age. But it is a great figure. I'll take you around that packaging in a bit because it's quite interesting. So what you have here, it's got 14 points of articulation, which is really good because if you want to do the spider walk, you can. So, for example, let's get this right. Incy Wincy in piddle-filled pyjamas, let's not forget. And so, I just need a little to scale staircase for it to come trundling down like that. The only thing it doesn't do, because the head should be able to swivel back a bit more, you can bend the waist a bit, but I don't recommend twisting the head too much. Hello. What? You've just had some bad news on the phone? Someone close to you has died? How would you like these? Oysters. Forgot the phrase. It's a good figure, folks. It's a great figure. There's a lot of Reagan figures. Of course, this is Reagan, played by, immortalised by Linda Blair, who is extraordinary in the film. And I've said before, it's immensely disturbing to me, even though I am not a religious person. So the film doesn't necessarily work on those particular standards for me. Demons, oh no, and priests, Jesuit priests who are battling to save this child's soul. I get it. I totally get it on that level. I'm not massively moved on that level, but I am moved by the plight of a young girl who is hideously possessed and abused, scratched and tortured, and the plight of her poor mother, and the plight of anybody who's trying to save the soul, the life of a young girl, or anybody for that matter. That's where I'm drawn in. And there's a demon in there too, which only just makes it even spicier. But it's an extraordinary performance in a fabulous movie. I'm totally with Mark Kermode on this. It's one of the greatest horror movies ever made. It is. Although having said that, I can list about 20, 30 horror movies which I prefer. Possibly a lot more. But that is an extraordinary figure, folks. Now, the night dress. I think that design is pretty much spot on. There are bigger dolls of this where you can see the actual design and fabric and all that, and embroidery of the night dress, which seems more authentic. But on a doll this size, that's pretty damn good, I've got to be honest. And in a kind of disturbing sort of way, it is stained as well, which is a little bit, you put that detail in as well, because don't forget, she does piddle herself, and it does become blood stained and vomit stained and all sorts of stuff. So you do have a lot of discoloration and icky stains, which I think is quite, well, it's attention to detail, isn't it? Now, look at the skin colour as well. Now, I do apologise with the overhead light there, you're getting a different cast on this, but trust me on this, there's a sort of icky, greeny, pale blue sort of aspect to it. That hue is horrible, and it looks just like she does in the movie. It's ghastly. The teeth are ghastly. The eyes are ablazed, and the skin is ripped up and scratched, and she's at her worst, her most diabolical, and also the worst physical for the poor young Reagan to be. The head, of course, I know you want to see it. Does it swivel around? Of course it does. You looking at me? You looking at me? Your mother washes socks in hell. I know, I kept that tame. The hands aren't particularly detailed, but that's not what you're looking at. You're looking at the face. The hair is incredibly profuse and very silky and very synthetic. The hair is actually pretty good. I mean, that design is good. That hairstyle is pretty, gothic, flamboyant, rebellious, wild, extraordinary. I've used that word several times so far in this video. But the film is extraordinary. Attentively eared people amongst you can now hear the rain blasting down now. Because, it's meant to be the season of snow. Not round here. Rain. Bloody rain. And wind. And it's getting cold as well. But anyway, there you go. And bare feet. Again, there's not too much detail on the feet, but you've got, as I say, 14 points of articulation, so you can swivel these arms around, you can do all sorts with them. The waist switches around, the head turns around, feet move, the hands move and revolve. You've got a fair bit of articulation. 14 points, as I say. That's pretty good, pretty generous in the articulation front. The mouth doesn't open and close and spill forth extreme projectile green bile and vomit. No, it doesn't do that, thankfully. And it doesn't do naughty things with crucifixes either. although I haven't actually tried to do that. Now, lest I get labelled as some kind of weird 8-inch doll fiddler, I have looked underneath here. Now, the reason being for that, there are dolls of Reagan which have the horrible scratched in help me, which obviously her internal soul fighting is scratching on the inside of the skin. Help me, help me. Now, there are dolls that have that depicted there, and I've checked on this and it doesn't do that. It wasn't a selling point anyway, but perhaps would have been a nice idea to have incorporated that, but they didn't do it. What I've noticed since this arrived, and it arrived 24 hours ago now, and you know, the whole thing about the head swiveling, that's kind of a crucial weird thing, iconic ability. But this doll, and I'm not making this up folks, if I leave it just lying down for a bit and then return to it, we've noticed, including my daughter, little kilt daughter, 13 years old now, who, just to tease her all the more, she does look like Reagan, or well, Linda Blair at that age looks like a bit of a pudgier faced, slightly younger version of my daughter. My daughter did look just like, not like that, but the cherubic Reagan before she gets possessed. So there's a big similarity there. But the weird thing is that, as I say, when I've left it unattended and you return to it, the head hasn't turned around, but the waist has swiveled and the legs are completely the way around. Folks, I'm not making that up. We have spooks in this house. I've discussed, you know, the mischief that those elemental annoyances get up to. I didn't mean that, honestly. I love you, really. You keep me on my toes. But yeah, and the legs just seem to swivel round. And you know, you've got to physically move that waist to get the legs to turn. So I do think that's slightly unusual. It didn't mention that on the packaging. You know, from the waist down, it has a life of its own. It does not say that. Anyway, there's that. There's the figure. So there's the packaging. Lovely image there. I like that, and I love the way it's been done on the back as well. Those eyes and that, because that's the moment where she knows they're coming for the priest, and she's just like that, and the room is totally frozen, and the camera sort of stays on it and moves in slightly. But with Mego have been a long-standing creator and designer of action figures, and I like the way that you get a little history on the backs of these packs. I've got a few of these, and it says, right, Marty Abrams, aka the father of the action figure, has relaunched these figures in response to overwhelming demand. Well, at least 62,850 odd people demanded it. Mego, pronounced Mego, because you may have struggled with that word Mego. Mego Corp was started by his father David Abrams in 1954 and named by his younger brother Howard, who would say Mego too. Howard later became head of sales for the company. Mego Corp sold over 20 million of its now standard 8-inch action heroes worldwide, and Mego Corporation is proud to take over that fine heritage today. So, but what I like about this is that when you get a lot of these figures, like collector's figures and just rarities, and they don't always say who designed them, who sculpted them, but these Mego figures, it does. So it says here, with special thanks to consultant Dr. Mego, sculptors Sean Sansom, seamstress making the night dress Rachel Baker. I like the fact that it does do that. It gives some credit to these people. And by the way, there's the infamous flight of steps. You know, I love in Exorcist 3 the poster, dare you walk these steps again, or dare you climb these steps again. But yeah, it's a great little stocking filler. I do love all the imagery that they've used on this box, on this packaging. As is often the case with my good self, I got this from Amazon. I am the guy that keeps Amazon going. About time they paid back, give something back to the guy that's been spending all of his hard-earned wages online with them. But it's a great figure. You could trim that hair. I'd have to go and watch the film again. I've seen it a million times, I know, but I don't think the hair ever gets quite as extravagant as that. It does get kind of billowy out, but I don't think it's quite as wild as this. But then again, I like it too. I do like the hair. You can, of course, have a levitating if you have some string, or you have a fan, an upturned fan, and you could have a hovering just about there. So, and the head can turn and look at you. Ah, she's levitating. She can keep an eye on you. It is a spooky little doll, isn't it? You've got to admit that. And I think they've done a really, really good job. The night dress looks incredible, and the detail, the patterning is great. The buttons on it, the seams, all this rather dishevelled frilliness, whatever you want to call it. But it does look the part, and her face is just, whoa, deeply disturbing, and the eyes are alive. It is great. It's a great piece of 8-inch figurine, cult, icon, action figure. I mean, the thing is, there are things that you can do. You can have it going down the stairs, spider walk fashion. You can have it levitating. You can have it just sitting there. You could put it in a little bed or whatever in a doll's house and just have it sitting there. Obviously, get a bit of that green slime and just have that liberally sprinkled around. Because she's just obviously. It is great though. I love the movie. I think it's a tremendously bravura piece of filmmaking from William Friedkin. It's a deeply disturbing novel that it's based upon, and of course it's based upon a true story as well, only in reality it wasn't a girl, it was a boy. But it is an iconic story, and it'll never go away. The diminishing returns of Exorcist II, The Heretic, notwithstanding, the detective show of Exorcist III and its variant Legion are fabulous as well. But the original will always be here. And whether you're a devout Catholic or not is irrelevant. As a horror film, it hits all the right notes, and it applies the thumb screws with literally demonic ferocity. It's a tour de force and a very emotional ride as well. I know people that have watched the film and gone like, well, that was boring. If you weaned in later life on or you came to horror, the genre later, and you watched stuff just like, I don't know, video nasties and just whatever, Saw movies, torture porn, then this will be an intelligent, wordy, quiet, emotional piece, which is not the roller coaster ride that a lot of people may come to it expecting. But that said, you shouldn't be making excuses for it, because the film is fabulous. And if you don't get it, then you don't get it. That's the way things are. But I got it from the word go, and it's never left me. It's a wild, frightening, relentless, gut-wrenching, harrowing punch to the soul, literally. And that's a great little memento from it. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put this. I don't know. I've got figures everywhere. They sit on shelves, they're on the table over there, there's some in the conservatory. They're everywhere. But that sort of thing, you don't want it just standing there. You kind of want it to look like an image from the film. So I think really what I might do is get like the bed from a doll's house, try to get one that's in that scale sort of thing, and just that'll be it. Just sit it in that. Perfect. Put it on the shelf. That's it. Perfect. Job done. As I say, there are other companies have released Reagan Exorcist dolls, and some are bigger. The Living Dead dolls have got one which is really, really good as well. And there's different sizes, obviously. And you've got dioramas where she is doing the spider walk on like a sculpture. So, you know, if you're into The Exorcist, look, you can add this to your collection. And I think it's great. Obviously, Possessed Hip Swivel is an extra, a bonus feature which is not advertised. I'll tell you what though, if it was the head that was spinning around, that would be freakish, wouldn't it? But no, the spooks here have got other ideas. Very strange. Anyway, folks, there you go. From me and Reagan. Not President Reagan, but Reagan. Be happy. Be festive. Be merry. God's sake. And I haven't forgotten about the review of Extreme Prejudice. Well, actually, I had forgotten. And it did take someone to text me and say, like, didn't you say on the previous video, which was actually a few videos ago, you're going to review Extreme Prejudice? And I went, did I? Watched it back. Oh, yeah, I did, yeah. So, fear not, Extreme Prejudice fans. That review is definitely coming. And I can tell you that I am now on the eve of my last day in work. And then I'm off for quite some time. So there's going to be a lot of stuff coming. A lot of stuff. Lots of reviews, lots of fun and kilted Christmas antics. So please, stick with us. Be happy. Be healthy, y'all. Keep it kilted, keep it Celtic. And I am going to see you all later. Maybe with Captain Howdy in tow.